Sometimes it make your mind dissolve, trying to solve something not meant for you to solve. You got to search for inner peace, inner peace. Sometimes you got too much involved, trying to solve personal problems you should solve. You got to search for inner peace, inner peace.
The music, murder music.
Hold on.
Murder music.
Wait a second. Blaze.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Wait a minute. Give me Somebody real quick. Give me Somebody. And we're going to come into our guest tonight. I got him in the back. We're going to play just a quick little energy so I can settle it down. I know you know how we get sometimes. You know what I mean? That's just doing the campaign energy right there. That's that campaign mix. We're going to give it to you like that. We're going to just, level it out a little quick, real quick. We want everybody to get some enlightenment from this. I want you to get the highest point of that enlightenment. We use like the term Samdi. SAMADHI. Samdi. And this dude right here that got this music right, he got this song called Samdi. Check it out on iTunes. You know what I'm saying? And we can just vibe real quick. Let's settle it out real quick before we go into our special guest real quick, please. Settle the energy real quick. I just need the first part. Really, I just need the first part. You know what I mean?
Where there's no time or space, far beyond the heavens, way beyond the realms of outer space, where birds cannot fly and planes cannot go. The blissful land of Dharma Setra, the infinite abode of the soul. I'm from a galaxy far, far away.
Far, far away.
I'm going home. Wish I could stay. See you later. I'm from a galaxy far, far away. But I'm going home. Wish I could stay. See you later, Earth. Samadhi, Samadhi.
Samadhi, Samadhi.
Samadhi.
Vibe.
Samadhi, Samadhi. Satnam. Samadhi. Samadhi, Samadhi. Satnam, Samadhi. Samadhi, Samadhi. Satnam, Samadhi. Stay free.
Appreciate that. You heard that last part, stay free. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that song will allow you to understand how you want to feel this, so you can go ahead and touch the highest limits if you need to touch. We're going to touch some things tonight, you know what I'm saying, with Lee Cummings. Yes, sir. We could go ahead and pull him up if he's in the backstage. We can get straight to it. I ain't going to even, man, before I even bring you on the big stage, shout out to Lee Cummings. He's in the building with us tonight. And I appreciate him for spending the time to break down some of the things, and him being the author of these books that a lot of people are reading, and a lot of conversations behind the scenes are taking place about his books. So I want to get with him. Yeah, we're a live, mix show, podcast type of vibe. We be doing all sorts of things, but we like to tap into, especially people that do write these type of information and give it to the people. So you can put them on the big screen for me, please. Got a green. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Lee Cummings, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. How y'all doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Thank you for joining us.
I like your music, man.
You vibing? You vibing?
Yeah, I felt it.
You felt it? That's what's up, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. Where you located at for the people to know you tapping in from where?
I'm in Chicago.
You're in Chicago. That's what it is. Hey, so, man, I mean, you've been writing a lot of these books, man. How long you been writing books for? I'm gonna ask you some simple questions so people get to know you. Then I'm gonna let you ride.
Man, I published the first piece back in 2011. It was an identity piece. Who am I? That was the first book. The title was Who Am I?
2011.
Yeah.
And then now you've written from 2011. That's 10 years now. So you were 10 years.
That's a long time, man.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, by the way. You know,
appreciate it.
Because some people might say you're self-published. Someone said that to me this week when I was getting some feedback on the interview I got coming with you, right? So I asked some people, so what you think about the books? What you thinking? Some people, it's self-published, so the thought process.
I create everything: the covers, table of contents, interior, manuscript, the whole nine from start to finish.
How many books have you put out so far?
Shit, man. All right, the Negro Question book series has 7 books.
Right.
There's two Bibles.
Okay.
There's 9 books, and then I just published. No, there's the 10th book is the Seventh Seal, and this new book right here, the Paleo Hebrew, the Negro Question Paleo Hebrew Dictionary, is a Bible concordance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's about 13 books.
13 books.
13 books.
10
And,
years. 10
yeah,
years.
man, and I still got, and I'm not done yet.
Yeah, I know you ain't done.
Ain't
I know
done
you
yet.
ain't done. So, I mean, someone actually, since you're saying this in all these books, what inspired you? Because I'm gonna ask the question this person asked me because it's an easy question, I feel. But from the series, the Negro Question series, 1 through 7, what inspired you to give it that name? This is the thing I think you caught a lot of attention in my opinion.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you what it was because uh, I've always been a history buff, and uh, the Negro question was never answered. There was the Jewish question with the European Jews, what to do with the European Jews. So in 1947, they gave them a charter and gave them the land of Israel, even though they couldn't prove who they were.
Right.
Then there was the Negro question. The Negro question was, what are we going to do with 5 million emancipated Negroes in 1865? So the question was never answered. And so I said, okay, I'm going to come up with a title called The Negro Question.
So now, the here's why I asked you that, because you came up with that title, and obviously people thinking, obviously you obviously have a faith behind you, you know what I'm saying, in
Right.
your narrative of this information you're putting out. Do you have a problem with the term Negro being described as yourself, sir? This is the question I was asking you.
No,
Simple
it's
question.
a Latin. Negro is a Latin word. All it means is black. In fact, just for the sake of the audience, and I'm not using the word, and I don't want to offend anybody, but
Right.
you have to understand you have to understand that the word nigger, the word nigger in Latin is negrita. In the Latin Vulgate, which was written in 380 AD, Solomon is described as a negrita, or Negro, or nigger. There were Romans, Caesars, that were so black that they were called Niger or nigger. So the word itself in antiquity, all it ever meant was black. That's all it means. It took on a negative connotation during the slave trade. I don't know why, but nigger, Negro, Niger, it just simply meant black.
So now, some people kind of take it wrong because we gonna get to the history. Because I think in the series that you did, I think you did a great job of breaking down some historical things that need to be brought to light. That is why I think in the culture, the urban culture, from young to old, can appreciate the series that you did, and how you went from the narrative of showing you gave a list of surnames, you got
Right,
records in here, how they came on the boats but had these surnames, you know what I'm saying? Not the
right.
slave trade narrative of it though. I don't think a lot of people understand that, because there's a lot of information. I'm not going to cover all of it tonight in this interview.
Well, the thing is, I feel you, but the thing is, you have to ask yourself the question. Everybody under the sound of my voice, the question is, if the slave narrative is true as a whole, that all Negroes are descended, or all black folks are descended from slaves in the United States, where's the ship's manifest coming out of West Africa? We've only located one ship's manifest, and
One.
that was the black European princes that came out of England, Wales, Scotland, and Britain. And it was called, they were on Jacobite ships in 1715, 1745, and they described the sons of King Charles II as being tall and black. So, again, the question is, I'm the only one that has ever presented a ship's manifest that gives an eyewitness description of the black Jacobite princes. Nobody else did that. And this so-called slave narrative that comes out of West Africa Where's the ships manifest? You can't find one.
Can't find one. They be trying to make them up.
Huh?
I mean, I literally, I've had somebody, I just literally they asked me to ask you a question about the word Negro. And I mean, literally, I'm not trying to be rude to nobody out there, but this is a real question going on in our social world right now on
Right.
different platforms. So I'm speaking on me listening to people's information. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be rude. So literally, there's Pan-Africans in certain worlds that might not believe in the Negro being a Jew or a Hebrew origin in ancient times. Some agree with certain parts of it. It's interesting though, and I'm only speaking from me listening to the narrative of our Pan-African speaking to me. I'm saying it from that standpoint. So anybody hear me clearly, because I can't speak verbatim his words, but I'm gonna get the principle of it. Do you think that a person that, like you just broke down, slave narrative ship manifested, showing paperwork coming out of West Africa on a slave ship? You're saying that you have not found anything yourself.
I ain't found, but this is what we have. Check
Go
this
ahead,
out.
sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see that? This map. Can you see that clearly?
Yes, sir. I can see.
You see where it says slave, you see where in the center where it says Slave Coast?
Yeah.
Right above it, it says what? Kingdom of Judah.
Right.
This map dates back to 1747. This proves that all the slaves that came in the North Atlantic slave trade were none other than what? The tribe Judah. Now I want you to check out the timeline, 1747. Let me show you another map. This map.
What is the book you're showing us out of, Mr.
This is the new dictionary that I published.
That's right.
It's called
All right, make
the Negro
sure.
Question Dictionary. Now check this map out. This, I don't know, can you see that? This map, hold on. Where's mine?
Got a little glare.
Tell me when to stop. All right, this map right here. What about now?
Come to your center a little bit more. Move to your, I guess I'll be to your left.
Cool,
your left.
Right there.
Come back left. Come back left. Come back left.
That way.
Come back left. Come back left. A little bit more. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Right there. Stay right there. Right there.
I want the brown map in there.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not blurry, but I see it.
Okay, hold on.
Because you got that light.
Yeah, let me see. What about now?
I can see it.
All right, now this
I see the map
right
on the
here.
left.
Keep going this way. All right, tell me when to stop.
I see it right there. Stop.
Okay, now this map right here, the brown one, that map is dated 1723. It shows the king of Judah being crowned in West Africa. So
that's the map on the right, right? In that
that's
dictionary.
The brown map. That's this map. Oh, you gotta go the other way. That's that brown map. This one, not this one right here.
Okay, I got you. That one.
Check it out.
That one's blurry. I got you though. I see what you're saying. But we'll have to get that.
Hold on. We got two maps that prove.
If you want, I could do this for you to make it easier for you. If you want, you can tell me what link to pull up, and we can pull it up and pull it on the screen so everybody can see it.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's better. Try it now. Okay,
now the map from 1723. All of this is in the Negro Question Paleo-Hebrew Dictionary that I just published. This dictionary is written in English. It's written there. How about that?
That's better.
Now that map right there, look at the date on the bottom.
I can't really see it too clear.
Let's see if I can get closer. You see it now, the date where it says Kingdom of Judah, crowning of the Kingdom of Judah.
It's blurry, but
the date on that 17, huh?
Come back a little bit. Come back. Come
Which
back
way? The other way?
Back towards you. Come back off the screen. Back up off the screen a little bit. Let me see. Now come back in. I'm trying to see if I can get everybody to see it because I know if I can't see it. All right, it says Map of Judah, 1723, Jacques. Then it says, what's that other word? Lee Cummings?
Jacques Grasset Descent.
Can you get that map? Can we pull that up digitally? Let's see if we can search that map while
Yeah,
you're talking about it.
tell them to type in.
You see if we can pull it up.
Tell them to type in. Oh, you got it.
No, I'm gonna try to pull it up right now. That's why I
All right,
asked if
check
I could
this
read
out.
it.
Now
So I
that
can see if I can
map.
pull it up.
Now you got two maps. You got the one map from 1723 that
Right.
shows the king of Judah, black king of Judah, being crowned. Then you got another map from 1747 that shows that the original name of the slave coast before the white folks got there was Kingdom of Judah. That proves that everybody that came into the slave trade through what I call the Southern Gate, North Atlantic slave trade, was none other than what? Israel. Which means what, brother? It means that the white Europeans knew that the so-called Negro, who they call an African American now, they knew we was Israel in 1723. Tell me that ain't deep. And the second map I showed you from 1747, you can find in major universities. One is Northwestern University in the Big Ten in their map inventory. It's a secret to us, but the people, the elite Gentiles or the elite white folks, they've been known since 1723, as late as 1747, that you was Israel. It is indisputable. But don't
So no, this is my thing, right? That's
Go
my
ahead.
thing. 1723.
Yeah.
It's way after Columbus in 1492.
Well, I wouldn't even. That's
I'm just asking.
childish.
I'm just talking off the wild.
Yeah, but the Christopher Columbus dialogue is childishness, because we got some brothers from Ghana that sent 200 ships across the North Atlantic in I think either 1200 or 1300 AD, almost 150 to 200 years before Christopher Columbus set foot in North America. That's folly, man.
Where can we get that information from? Like, because that's what people want to know. Because see, I don't think I've heard nobody even say that to me like that. I'm gonna be real. You're the first person. Lee Cummings, sir. Yeah. You're the first person to say this to me, and I've read a lot of documentation, and I researched a lot of stuff. I read your books. I just want to know.
You can find the article. It's called. Here's the article. It's called Atlantic Voyage of the Predecessor of Mansa Musa. The Atlantic Voyage of the Predecessor of Mansa Musa. You know, Mansa Musa was the richest Hamite in his generation.
Right, but so they
show where they sent 200 ships across the Atlantic.
Okay.
And the date,
that's 13.
And check this out. The date was 1324.
24, you're saying?
1324.
13.
And they did that almost. Christopher Columbus didn't allegedly discover America to what? 1400, 1450?
Right.
These brothers sent 200 ships across the North Atlantic in 1324, almost 150 years before Christopher Columbus was even born, man. The problem that we're having in the Americas is that the European history is a history that was made up by the Gentiles, or what we call white Europeans. If you go back and read their history book, the first thing they tell you is that the barbarians overran the Roman Empire in 450 AD. Well, what color was the barbarian? He was what? He was white. What makes you a barbarian, brother? Anybody that doesn't have an alphabet is considered a barbarian. Because you don't have an alphabet, you cannot create a civilization, and you cannot maintain it. After 40, 50 years, when all the elder or the elite or the intellectuals die off, then the civilization has to start back over again. So without an alphabet, you cannot be a civilization. You can't maintain one.
No, I'm listening to you. When
you hear the Europeans say that the Africans had oral tradition they in a very subliminal, settlement way, they're saying that the Africans were what? They were barbaric. We know that's not the case because we had you got the hieroglyphics, and then you have ancient Paleo-Hebrew writings. But to make a long story short, these Europeans, because they didn't have a history, they couldn't read or write. There's a historical piece out there. You can also find that written in this the Negro Question dictionary. There's a section in this dictionary that shows that the white barbarians didn't learn how to read or write until around 600 AD, and that it took them another 300 years to master the English language. So the Gentiles, the Europeans, what you call white folks, have only been reading and writing and speaking an intelligent language for 1,000 years.
Now,
that's historical. In fact, you can find that
in your book.
You can find this in this book. And
now, with that book right there, right? Can you pull up the Aramaic joint I got? I want you to put. Because you mentioned something to me when I talked to you before I brought you on the show, and I wanted to have you on our podcast / show to go off this information that I feel is a hot topic, and you keep dropping some joints like this, is going to stay hot, and obviously it's going to spark a lot of people's interest into this information.
Do you mind if I interrupt you? Do you mind if I interrupt you for 5 seconds? This is again the Negro Question Paleo-Hebrew Dictionary on page 112. It says, what was the form of the Anglo-Saxons language when about 450 AD they entered Britain? No one knows the answer. It seemed to have been a people without learning and without an alphabet. Their speech, always being cursory and extemporaneous, must have been artless and without any modes of transition or involution clauses. With abruptness and in connection can be seen in their earlier writings. Okay. This barbarity seemingly continued during their wars with Britons. This continued to 570 AD until Augustine came from Rome to convert them to Christianity. After 300 years, 900 AD, the Anglo-Saxons learned enough to express themselves like a civilized people. These are historical references from the Europeans themselves. I see the way I work is, when I'm proving points, I use European historians because they will not refute their own sons. So they write. So who are the Anglo-Saxons? These are the white folks that are currently governing the African Americans. When did they learn how to read and write, and when did they become civilized? When they came in contact with us through the North Atlantic slave trade. That's why they're so bloodthirsty. Even right now in our generation, we calmed them down. Now, we were supposed to be the savage beast in their history books, but the savage beast was what? Was the scholar, Timbuktu, the kingdoms of West Africa, all of Ghana, Mali, Songhai. These were the scholars. Why them cats were still, living in caves. So to condense the story, and I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
When you try to catch up to society, you look around, everybody got a story to tell, but you don't have a story because you never wrote nothing down for 5,000 years. So what do? You come up with the idea. You go get a white paintbrush. You paint all the artifacts black, and any writings or any documentation of greatness, you put your name on it. This is what they did. You don't believe it? You don't believe it?
No. It's not even about that.
You know that there was over 2 million free Negroes in the North during the Civil War, the American Civil War. And the reason we know that is because 250,000 free Negroes went to fight in the Civil War. What happened to them 250,000 free Negroes when the war was over? They went back home. They started all those free towns, Freedom Town and all that. So what did the Gentiles or the white man do? He took the free Negroes' history and merged it with the slave history of the South and taught us that all Negroes descended from slaves. No, that's the reason why you got brothers walking around in our society today with the last name Freeman or Freedman. He was never a slave. That name is a condition. He was a free man. His whole generation. Y'all understand me?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we are historically. Our children don't get to hear this type of dialogue. Why? Because they control. They understand this. They understand to control the heart or the mind is to control the body. So what they do is they keep a nice, good slave movie going to keep our children feeling in fear. When guess what? We started this. There's a book that I wrote part 6 called The 13 Black Colonies, where I prove that the 13 colonies were founded by black. There you go, my man. They were founded by black folks.
No, but see, no, I had somebody tell me, a Pan-African, by the way, a person that is African American in today's time, and has told me that based off of genealogy and heritage, that the African came only on slave ships and that he can never be nobility. And the people that they're talking about that are black, like King James and the Stuarts and the Jacobites and the people that you talk about in these books,
Right.
they're trying to say that, oh, that ain't true. Those people they were black, but they weren't Negroes. That's what people are saying.
The thing is,
Some,
this is the thing,
not
though.
me. Them.
Let me ask
I'm
you
talking
a
about people
question.
that
Let me
where
ask
they
you a
coming
question.
from. I don't think they read the book.
Where you live at? Where you in Florida?
I'm in South Florida. I'm in South Florida.
Well, check this out. Guy come around. They got. Check out my example. The guy at the liquor store, he got cameras outside the store and inside the store. And then, people always hanging outside the liquor store, right?
Right.
2 guys come in the liquor store, stick the liquor store up. We got eyewitnesses on the outside of the liquor store, eyewitnesses in the liquor store, and you got the cameras rolling, right?
Right.
And then you go back and you show up in the court of law and you say, these are the eyewitnesses. And the people in the jury says, we don't believe the eyewitness. If you don't believe the eyewitness, who you gonna believe?
Who you gonna believe?
That's cold, ain't it?
It's cold.
So we don't do conjecture in the Negro question. We give you the eyewitness account. If you don't believe the eyewitness, guess what? I don't know what else to tell you. Hey, look, you see that picture on the front? That's King Charles.
King Charles.
That's King Charles II. And that picture on the front page of that, on the front cover of that book comes from the original Rhode Island Charter.
Charter.
That's why they don't never. When you went to think about this when you was in school, did you ever see a charter for the 13 colonies? You ain't never seen them. You know why? Because the original charters depict the kings of England and Scotland as what? Black kings.
Mm-hmm. No, well, again, this is the thing we're gonna get into is the word swarthy. Before I go, cause I'm gonna pull up some links.
We got a definition from 1650 on the word swarthy.
I got you. Hold on 1 second. Can we pull up the little? All right. So wait. I want to ask you this question for Aramaic, right? Aramaic. So first Aramaic, so we can give people a breakdown on this conversation tonight. People can see this, right? Pull it up. Yes. You told me when I spoke to you about the language, Aramaic being the oldest language. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you're saying that Aramaic is older than Hebrew.
See, that's the game. That's the game that the Europeans are running on society. So the game, this is the scam. It go like this. It's how, remember on the trains when we were short, as we get on the train, the guy on the train, he got the 3 cards. You had to pick out the red one or the black one. Or I don't know if y'all did that way. Where I'm from, it's called 3-card Molly. And then another game hustle they had was 3 peas in a pod. You had to figure out which one of the caps had the P under. Mm-hmm. The Europeans are doing that with history. So this is what they say to the people. Jesus or Yeshua spoke Aramaic. Then they said, no, it wasn't Aramaic. That's Phoenician or that's Moabite or Ammonite. What they don't tell the people is Aramaic is derives from the word Aram, A-R-A-M. Aram is the baby son of Shem. This is where you get the word Shem or Semite. So Aramaic was what? One of the oldest alphabets that was in Babylon during the Tower of Babel. That's around the date. The date on that is around 2000 BC. We got artifacts from that time frame that shows this particular alphabet. I I got artifacts from the time of the Exodus that shows one of the brothers with a chain around his neck with Aramaic. Aramaic and Paleo Hebrew is one and the same. To make a long story short.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page as
Yeah.
that. I get
And
that.
look, man, if they got any of their guys want to go live with me, you set it up and I'll do it. I don't do nothing unless it's live.
Got you. I like it like that. So this is why I want to read this real quick, and we're gonna go back to the next question. Because I brought this up. I found this source. I want you to tell me what you think about this source based off of your information. I know you have your own dictionary. It says Aramaic is the oldest continuous spoken and written language in the Middle East, even older than the written Hebrew and Arabic.
All right, now listen. Now check this out. Go
ahead.
Why did they say even older than written Hebrew? Because they're talking about this modern Hebrew that the white Europeans in Jerusalem came up with. It's called that square script. So what they're saying is, I'm gonna translate it for you. What they're basically telling you is Aramaic is older than the modern Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that critical? Because once you start translating the Dead Sea Scrolls and start translating the stone stills, the modern Hebrew you cannot find. You can find Aramaic.
I think I agree with you on that. And since I'm gonna keep going, it says approximately 3,000 years ago, Aramaic speakers were mainly located in the Near East. Writers and readers of Aramaic, a group trained for political, commercial, and religious employment, lived in the regions now covered by Iraq, Syria, adjacent areas.
Now this guy's lying, because you can find Aramaic on the stone stills all over Asia. And let me give you the game.
Give me game. That's why you see them using a link for you to give it to me.
3% of Turkey is in Europe, and the other 97% of Turkey is in Asia. 97% of the artifacts that have been found that have been written in Aramaic was found in ancient Turkey. Ancient Turkey, that they call ancient Anatolia, is ancient Turkey. So for some inexplicable reason, he left off where he says adjacent areas. He should have put Turkey in there, or Asia.
Thanksgiving's coming up. You heard me? Hanukkah and all that good stuff. Yeah. So I'm just going off source because he did, but you do agree with the first line where he says,
"Yeah, I agree with all this is accurate." He's leaving out relevant information. Like he don't tell you that Aram and Aramaic was named after Aram, the baby son of Shem.
Right.
And so who was at the Tower of Babel? Shem was there, and his son Aram was there. So you had a lot of languages spoken at Babel, and one of the languages before the Lord confused the languages of men, the language at Babel initially was Aramaic, or the language of our father Adam. The first language, the oldest language on the earth, goes back to the Garden of Eden.
Adam.
What they call it can't be called Aramaic because he wasn't born yet, Aram. So it was what? It was Hebrew, the original Hebrew. But that wasn't even Adam's language, because if you go back and look at you listen to the linguists, those that study languages, they tell you that the first man to ever speak was a black man from ancient Sumer, the Sumerian. They said they don't know where he came from and where the language originated, but all they know, the only person that fit the description is Adam. Adam was taught Hebrew by who? By the one they call Jesus, or the one they call Yeshua, or the one y'all call God. So the first language that ever touched down on this earth came from the third heaven. That's a fact, man.
Okay. Oh, shoot. I'm going to let you ride with this now, Lee. So, Mr. Lee Cummings, can I put up the next source? We go pull up the next source because I want you to break these things down. These are certain things we talk about, and I thought about these sources to kind of lead into a conversation with you and give me your perspective because you just did a dictionary, as you just said,
Right.
and you told me Aramaic, right? So
Yeah.
these are certain things. I ask certain people. I try to find sources that we can both look at, and you can tell me your thoughts, like how we just
If
did
you
that.
got a Bible right
You know what I'm
now, I could show you. If you got a Bible right now, I could show you in the 10th chapter of Genesis that Aram was the baby son of Shem. Aramaic was named after Aram. And there was a region, there was a time that Syria, that was on your last source.
Mm-hmm.
Syria was in the land of Aram. So even the ancient Syrians spoke what? Aramaic.
Aramaic.
That's a
The
scam.
Assyrians.
It's an intellectual
And that's
scam.
Babylonian, right? That's the Babylonians. That's the Babylonians. That's the people that
No,
came in.
no, see, Syria wasn't in Babylon.
The Assyrian Empire. The Assyrian Empire.
The Syrians were the seed of Shem. Syria.
But I'm saying, but they're still the Assyrian Empire, right?
Yeah. Well,
they're Babylonians.
That's enough. But those aren't the Syrians. Those are two different people. You
Okay,
have
so,
Syria and Assyria.
You're right. I'm not trying to. You're right, y'all. He's right. Syria and Assyrian Empire are not the same thing.
Right. See, the Assyrians were Hamites. That was the son. They were the sons of Ham. Syria was descended from Shem. But the point that I'm trying to make is there was no such thing as Mesopotamia, man. If you go back and look at the ancient maps, it was called the land of Aram. All of that. That's why that brother mentioned Iran, Iraq, and Syria. That is the land of Aram.
And you would say and describe him as a Negro in your thoughts of reading the information.
Listen, man.
I'm just asking because I want people to hear from you clearly.
This is non-racial. See, people, I want to make
it is supposed to be.
I want to make this comment to everybody that's listening to us. You got to stop letting folk use the race card on you when the truth is being revealed. Because what these people do is they say, oh, it's not racist. It's called truism.
Cool.
The thing that you have to understand is that ancient Mesopotamia was called the land of Aram. All that entire Iraq, Iran, Syria, Jerusalem, Arabia, ancient Turkey, all of Turkey from the Euphrates to the Indian Ocean was the land of Aram. That was what they all spoke Aramaic, the same alphabet and language that Jesus and them used in the New Testament and the prophets and the apostles. That was the language. I want y'all to think for a second. This is what they don't teach you to reason. They give you a bunch of information. They call it knowledge. But I teach reason. Let's reason for a moment. If the white man or the European was a barbarian when he invaded England in 450 AD, how could he be the progenitor or the father of the English language? They say this is the English language. That's a lie. The English already had a language when the barbarians came in there in 450 AD. The barbarians, which are the Anglo-Saxons, the ones that rule over us now, they had no alphabet or language. So how is it that this English language belongs to them? Ain't nobody thinking, man. I'm gonna hit y'all with this. Since the man had me on the show, I guess I'm gonna drop some diamonds on you. There are 26 letters in the English language, the alleged English language. Right. How many of them are English? 0.
Correct.
Not one. 7 of the letters are Greek and Latin. The other 19 are Hebrew. The letter A, B, D, G, H, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, W, X, Y. The only 7 letters in the Hebrew, in the alleged English language that are not Hebrew are what? C, E, F, I, J, U, V, and Z. Well, no, UV. Because the Hebrew alphabet is a consonant alphabet. Allegedly, no vowels. We don't want to get. We ain't got time for all that. I'm just trying to show y'all. It's a scam they run it. So I deal with. I'm talking to a white scholar at Starbucks, and so I said, ain't no such thing as an English language. I said because. I said, show me one letter in the English language that came from the English. He said, I can't do it.
All right, so you know what? I gotta get my questions in for the people that
Go
have
ahead.
questions. Swarthy. I literally had somebody, we were going back to this swarthy thing, so I want to make sure this is clear for people because you in your books, back to your books. And again, Negro question part 6. The 13 black colonies, some people will put in question that the picture on the front of the book, even if that person is swarthy, and you look at I guess I would call them a wiggamore. That's a wig, right? That they wearing. Like,
No,
you know what I'm
there ain't
saying?
no wig. No,
That's their real hair.
hair.
All right,
Look.
so some people would say that's like a dark-skinned person today. That's not necessarily like me and you, a Negro. Like,
Well, you know
they'll
what?
say he's dark-skinned, but he's not a Negro.
You know what you
How's
do
that
then?
work? I'm just asking the question
Go
for the
back,
people.
go to the ship's manifest and give the eyewitness description of King Charles II's son. That's how you end that conversation.
That's how you do what? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Go back to the ship's manifest in part 6 that describes King Charles' sons as being black, like they fight. Didn't say swarthy. He said tall and black like King Charles.
You got I got the book. What page, sir? I'm gonna give him the page. I'm about to give it to him. I'll go. Hold on. Wait.
Yeah, take your time. Hey, it describes King Charles as tall and black, and his son and his grandson. See, the Gentiles threw us off the trail when they said England emptied out its prisons and sent its most horrible citizens to the United States, drunkards, murderers, and thieves. You got that? It should be on John
68, 69?
I don't know. What does it say? I don't have my book with me.
Charters, Rhode Island was called Red Island based on the translation.
No, I want you to go. You should have a ship's manifest. Man, I don't have my book with me, man. You should have a ship's manifest.
Hold on, I'm gonna get it for you. But pull up the swarthy thing for me real quick, guys, so we can go into that when we get to that. Because I don't want to miss up none of this information right now. All right, so but the question at hand is, because I want to make sure people see the question at hand and source. This is etymology, you know what I'm saying? This is not my information, so you see it as a source. Swarthy adjective, dark colored, especially of skin, 1580s, unexplained alteration, swarthy.
What is the year of that dictionary?
This is scroll up so you can show them the what it says. This is 1580 as far as
okay, but you see where it says black right here, right?
Yes, of course.
Adjective black.
This is etymology.online.
Right, now check this out. Now this dictionary that's in this definition that's in the Negro Question Dictionary says is dated from 1788. It's called the Samuel Johnson English Dictionary. It says swarthy, swart or swarthy, thickly darkly brown, tawny, black or tawny, and it says black, dark, and a tawny complexion. Tawny being brown in Hebrew. Tawny means tan in Hebrew, which is a like when white folks see brown skinned people, we tan color the brown. So the word in medieval times was tawny, tan. So even their dictionary, their definition of the word swarthy, here it is right here. If you look at it, they describe it as being black. So the reason why I bring that up and the reason why I'm using the dictionary from 1788 is words, the meaning of words and the definitions of words changes throughout time. So in order for you to understand what a word meant in the Middle Ages, you got to go back and get a dictionary from the Middle Ages. Does that make sense? Because whatever it meant in the Middle Ages, I got to ride with that. So in the Middle Ages, swarthy meant black. And in the Negro Question Part 6, I should have had I didn't know we was going to do this. There's a ship's manifest. If you go, you got it. It says the Jacobite. You got that shit's manifest?
I got it's on what put on big screen and show it to him.
There it is. There now
Yeah.
that's the eyewitness account of the brothers that was on the Jacobite ship.
I'm gonna pull him back up on the big screen. This is page 135.
That's cold. But that was
1745.
That eyewitness description came from John Mackey, former Secret Service agent to Queen Sophia in King George of England. They were happened to be Germans, black Germans. See, these were black German kings that sat on the throne of England. King James was not King James the First of England. He was King James the Sixth of Scotland. He was a black Scot. And so King James was a black Scot. King Charles I was a black Scot. King Charles II was a black Scot. King George I was a black German. And King James II, or the Duke of York, was a black Scot. I can prove that, man.
You can prove it. You got. He said it. Hey,
I can prove that, man. And I prove it in that book you got in your hand. This ain't no game.
I got the book, man.
Listen, man. You know how you know? You know how you know you got them? Well, they don't never want to talk about it. Not one of their white scholars in the 11
You ain't
years.
got white scholars. Listen, white scholars ain't debating you.
They don't want none.
No.
They don't want none.
That's not who's debating you. It's your own people debating this information.
Man, look, set it up, man.
All right.
Set it up.
Hey, man,
I go live.
I book things, man.
I already told you, G.
Don't make me put me in that situation. Now, you hear that, y'all?
We do,
you know what I'm saying?
whatever we do, we go live.
You know what I'm saying? Because I do it. You know, I'm okay.
Hey, man, look.
All right, now, Lee Cummings, hey, we've been called you. I will call a person out if they say something to me about this information.
You know,
we can, you know what I'm saying? We can line it up the way it need to be lined up. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to ask this question, though.
Go ahead.
Because the Black European information you have, you do. I'm gonna give a shout out because you. I mean, I gotta find that too. Can you help me with this? I got in one of these books.
Tell them go to the table of contents. Tell them to go to the table of contents and look up Jacobites.
Oh, we got the Jacobite joint down.
So you got the Jacobites. You close. Go back. I don't have my book in front of me. Go backwards and forwards. There's a ship's manifest.
Yeah.
Tell them look under. It should be under John Mackey. If you flip, you'll see where he gives an eyewitness description of King Charles. He describes King. And the reason why this is credible, this dude was a former Secret Service agent for the Queen of England, which means this is a legal document.
Right. No,
in which he describes King Charles as being what? A tall black man.
All right, so check this out. Since you said that, my man, shout out to Kim. You know what I mean? He just dropped an album actually recently, but he be vibing on this information. He be reading this stuff. And he asked me to ask this question to you. You know what I'm saying? I actually got text messages. I'm going to read it line for line. When he asked me to actually, because you just brought up John Mackey. He says, John Mackey memoir. They were saying how the King James got back on the throne. He was actually putting Catholics in powerful positions and not Protestants. Did he think King James was really in favor of the Protestants or not? That was his question.
Tell him that's erroneous. That's erroneous. Tell him to read. He needs to read. King James published a couple of books in his lifetime. One is called the Basilica Duran. And tell him to get the original 1611, 1619 version of the King James Bible. Read the introduction. Every Bible in the United States, worldwide, they took the introduction out of the Bibles. Why? Because in those introductions, King James put a hit out on the Pope and the entire Catholic Church. It is impossible. Yeah, you heard what I said. I said
wait.
I said that. I know, right?
Oh, man, murder me.
Get the original.
Stop playing
get the original 1611.
I'm trying to be peaceful.
Get the original 1611, 1619.
We got the source, though. We got the source for this. Actually,
the original 1611, 1619 King James Bible. Read the introduction. King James and his sons, they put a hit out on the Pope and on all the presbytery, and they was going to put them cats out the land. It is impossible. And in the Basilica Duran, in which King James writes, he tells his son, King Charles I, do not, whatever you do, eat with a Catholic. Do not pray with a Catholic, and do not marry their daughters. Why would he turn back around and then give them an official seat in the kingdom? King James was not Catholic. They were the king. They were the Church of England. It was two churches in that day: the Church of England and the Catholic Church. The most powerful church in the earth at that time was the Church of England. The Catholic Church put a hit out on King James. They tried to blow him up. It was called the Gunpowder Plot. So, to the brother that made that statement, you have to go back, read the Basilica Duran, written by King James, and read the introduction to the.
How you spell that? How you spell that? I got to get it.
Basilica, Basilika, Basilica Duran, Doron.
Basilica Duran.
Yeah, and then he wrote another book. Again, I didn't know we was gonna be doing this. I thought it was gonna be some.
Hey, I like it like this. Be live, like you said. I caught you. I'm ready for some questions. People talk about your stuff. See, listen, I ain't gonna lie. The great thing about this conversation with you is that I literally have people that really read your books. You know what I'm saying? Some people, you know what I'm saying, don't read it. You know what I'm saying? But people I know read your joints. You know what I'm saying? And there's debates. Yeah. And I know you know that. I know you know that people.
That's all. This is what I do. That's all I do.
I'm saying, but people come at you about your information. Some people don't agree. So I think a lot of people are starting to see it though in these books, because these books and how you said the manifestation.
See, let me ask you a question. Who have you ever known? Who do you ever know was called a Jacobite?
I'm glad you said that. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing that, again, some people who are literally still have the out of Africa theory, but their whole mind state is
that's still that not.
You only came on a ship, like on some slavery from white people.
No,
they don't have no idea that there could be the First Nation people indigenous to the land, speaking this ancient language, spreading around, civilizing places.
You know why they're drawn? This is what they're drawing from, brother. You have to. Are you a Hebrew?
No, I'm an Aboriginal though.
I'm gonna give you the game.
I'm gonna keep it out of my face in this
conversation. The Hebrews think like this. The Hebrews say, well, in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy, the Lord said, hey, if Israel don't keep the commandments, He's gonna put the curse on them, and He's gonna go back into captivity on slave ships. But the Lord didn't just give the curse. The Lord gave Israel two options. The first option He gave was the blessing. If you do what I tell you to do, I'm gonna make you the head and not the tail. The second option was, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you're going on slave ships. King James and them and the Hebrews that was in Europe, they kept the commandments. The brothers in West Africa did not keep the commandments. So same thing that happened with Daniel in Babylon. Hey, he kept the commandments. The Lord made him what? President in Babylon. Same thing happened with Joseph in Egypt. He went in as a captive, and then he became governor over all Egypt. You understand? Mm-hmm. So this is not unprecedented. We have a history where the Lord shows you, hey man, you do what I tell you to do, I'm gonna bless you. If you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm gonna hit you in the head. That's how He is.
Now, this is the thing. I want to make sure I say this out of respect. When I said Hebrew, I know these days people will be like, "Oh, you Hebrew, you religiously."
I know Jimmy.
Exactly. Me too. I agree. You know what I'm saying? Everyday people. But at the same time, me saying, being the First Nation people, me understand my descent through genealogy, my having people that come from out of certain places, out of these 13 colonies, and have certain surnames connected to that. And you saying that these people who have these surnames that came out of Europe with these surnames today, that are people I'm finding out through genealogy have these surnames that's going back to Europe, but they're being, thought that they were just some slave master name given from a white person. Coming to find out that it's. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, Mr. Lee Cummings. Let me just finish. I want you to answer what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
That they're finding out that these European people with these surnames are actually blood related to them and actually have roots to these surnames that are coming out of these 13 colonies, like you just are pointing out. And if it's in that manner, then yes, I will have heritage connected to what you would call a Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No big deal.
But
Like,
check this out.
that's not. But what I'm saying is too is, and I'm gonna ask you the question. I'm gonna let you answer first. I got something next, though. Go ahead, please.
Well, check this out, bro. We got what you got in your hand is the proof that the original 13 colonies were founded by the Black Scots and the Black Brits. It's impossible. Look, and the narrative is so cold that they don't even talk about it. They don't want nobody to. Now let's talk for a second.
Yeah,
You're right in what you say. You and the brothers, the Moors, they say, hey, the brothers was always here. That is so true. But if you go back and read the original charters, you know what you're gonna find? When King James came here, in one of the charters, I think it was the Plymouth or the Virginia charter, or I can't off the top of my head. He writes that the sole purpose of the plantation was to teach Christianity to the natives, not
right.
slavery. Now, when they came into the land, the Black Scots and the Black Brits and the Black Irish and the Black Germans, they bought land from the natives. The Black Indians. The Indians.
Say it again.
The indigenous
wait, I'm sorry.
Black. Huh?
Wait. Can you say that one more time? They bought land from who?
When the Hebrews came from Europe, they didn't come. They didn't enslave. You look at the verbiage in 13. One of the charges, it says that if there be a native, the people in the land, if they want to come with you freely, let them. Well, no, there's no mention of slavery. There's no mention of selling slaves. They give the primary reason of the plantations was what? To teach Christianity to the indigenous people, and we bought land.
But you said Black Indians.
The 7 nations. Indians? The 7 Indian nations sold land to the Black to the Black Europeans.
Right, but I'm saying, are you saying that the Indians were black too, sir? I thought I heard you say.
That's what history teaches.
Okay,
that's real history.
So who are the 7?
The indigenous people were black.
Oh, okay. So
hold on.
Aboriginals. I'm not saying.
I know.
Both sides.
I'm gonna show you that you're right.
Okay.
1751. Benjamin Franklin writes an essay called "The Opportunity of Man" or something like that. But in 1751, he writes that America is wholly swarthy.
Swarthy.
So he's given a new world order in his generation. He said Germany, Spain, Italy, France, and America, and all of Asia and Africa is swarthy.
Swarthy.
That's 1751. You put 150 years on it, that's what? 2000. That was 170 years. Is that right? 50 is 1800. So it's 250. So about 270 years. 270 years ago, Benjamin Franklin said that all America was black. And who was there at the time that he made the comment?
Who?
The Europeans from what? The Europeans from England, Britain, Scotland, Wales,
the Anglo-Saxons,
Ireland, and Germany, guys. Now, we got a problem at the Library of Congress. Either Benjamin Franklin wrote that or somebody's lying, and it ain't me.
Right.
And
I like how you said that. I like how you said that.
That should be in that book too. Benjamin Franklin's
no, it's in his book.
Comment.
It is. That's in his book. You're right. You're right. It's your book.
1751. And guess what? Not one white scholar, Princeton, Yale, Cambridge, none of them have tried to refute that statement that Benjamin Franklin made. So what does that tell you, man? That tells you that all of Asia was still what? The sons of Abraham were still black in 1751. You don't get this white population in Europe until the white barbarians didn't take over Europe till around 1800. That's why there was no census for Europe until 1800. The whites will tell you that they didn't take the first census in 1800. Why? They had committed genocide against all the brothers at that time. And then they finally got rid of the brothers in World War I and World War II. That was the final solution, to get rid of all the blacks so that the whites could have a home for themselves. That is the truth, man.
Now check this out. In your book, part 6, on page 92, you mentioned the black Indians that these black Europeans mixed in with, right?
Right.
Bought land from,
That's correct.
set up plantations to do missionary work to convert them to the
I don't even have
religion.
my book, and that's what they did.
I'm gonna say I'm not reading the book now. I'm saying it to you how I comprehending from everything I've been
That's
reading
exactly
from between my own information and
if
your
you read the
information.
original, that's why they don't teach our sons and daughters. That's why they will not let them read the original charters in the classroom. Once they see those original charters, they're gonna see the black kings of Scotland and England, and they're gonna see the verbiage. No, man, we wasn't here to enslave nobody. We came here to preach Jesus.
You know what's even crazy?
That's cold, ain't it?
That's kind of cold. How you putting it like that? How
I'm
you put it
telling
like
you,
that? That's
man.
kind of cold, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the thing, right? So, a lot of people don't know that the term before Negro and also in Europe is dealing with the term Moor, right?
It just
And these
means
coat of
black.
arms,
More means black.
Moor means black, just like Negro,
That's
synonymous
all.
in a
Yeah.
manner.
I don't know why
But
that's so
I
hard
would
for
say,
this generation.
I know, but I would say it's a deeper meaning to it. I would say it's a deeper meaning to it, but in a description manner in Germany, in the places in Europe, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
definitely a description of dark-skinned people. You know what I'm saying? And from that standpoint of me respecting, because Mauritania, you know what I'm saying? Ancient
That's true. There
Mauritania,
you go.
the
That's true.
land, the Berbers, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the people that they know civilized that area of what we would call North Africa, Northwest Africa, you know what I mean? And then you brought up earlier the Songhai, the Mali, the Ethiopia, the Abyssinian Empire. There's a lot of
And
things.
Northeast Africa. Because
Right.
Jerusalem is where? Northeast Africa.
And Northeast Africa is today considered the Middle East or the Levant. Am I
Right.
wrong?
That's the new scam, you know.
I know that, but you know it's crazy because it tells you when it was called that.
Right.
It
That's the
lets you
new
know that.
scam, man. With no such thing as no Middle East, man.
Right. So we gonna get caught up in that part. I'm not gonna waste your time with that because
Right.
I'm not gonna even. I get that part already. See,
Right.
but back to your book in reference to what you put in the book because you gave a shout out to the picture that you used in the book. You know what I'm saying? You gave a shout out to Aborigine because it's in the book. He's the person
Right.
that the picture comes from, and it shows indigenous Aboriginal people. It says the Floridian king of North America. You know what I'm saying? 19th century, 1723. You know what I'm saying? It's showing a person of Aboriginal, like our complexion,
Right.
an indigenous manner of these lands of America. You know what I mean? Florida Constitution by John Ogilvy, 1671.
Okay.
This is the picture you put in here, right?
Right.
It says image location, the history of Hernando de Soto in Florida, author Bernard Ship, chapter 8, page 472 through 473. You know what I'm saying? So you gave the source.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've done some research, right? So I know that right there is what yes, anybody out there, if you have the book, you better go look at the source yourself. Because I ain't here to tell nobody no lies. I ain't here for that. But at the same time, in the image, Johnny Aborigine. I'm gonna give him a shout out. I'm an Aboriginal person. I like the fact that he put it like that. He does some work out in the community of enlightening the people. And you use this source for this page to highlight where he got the information from based off the source you put at the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in correlation, it says there was in the first a very large black Indian of aspect very different from those who inhabit the interior of the country. The barbarians of the coast are black in this manner because the sun is there warmer and elsewhere, and because they are continually in the water, which is salt. For the land being dry and sterile, they are obliged to fish in order to subsist. When the Indian had approached the caravel near enough, he placed himself on the prow of his vessel, and a voice full of hotness told in Spaniards, according to what the interpreter asserted, that the Spaniards were robbers. What did they come to seek upon the coast? And they should leave it in haste, otherwise he would burn their brigands and put them all to the miserable death. History of Hernando de Soto in Florida by Bernard Ship, chapter 8, page 472 You know, 472 through 73, which you mentioned in the bottom. I might have messed up that word. I know me out here on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have messed up that Briganti, right? Did I say that right?
Right. Just
All
the
right.
name of it. Just a ship.
But still, I want to make sure I give people the reference right.
Yeah.
I mess up words like that, Mr. Lee Cummings, and I appreciate you for giving these
The
sources.
thing is, bro,
So
if you go back and look at the artifacts that show Andrew Jackson talking to the Indian chiefs, he got 2 Indian chiefs in his hand. They all black. If you go look at the original pictures of Comanche, Chief Running Bull, and the rest of the chiefs, they are all black. The only time you get white Indians, is after the Trail of Tears, after the concept of manifest destiny. When a white man, he took that move west, killed off all the black Indians, and then what did they do? They confiscated their lands. And so now when you look on Indian plantations now, you see the seed of the whites that committed genocide against the black Indians, and now they've assumed their identity. That's exactly what. So that's why the white folks got mad at Donald Trump when Donald Trump told Warren, the congresswoman, "You don't look like no Indian I've ever seen." They was mad because he was giving the game away.
Mr. Lee Cummings. So let me ask you this, right? Do you think these people, when they came that were black Europeans and mixed and bought land, set up plantations based off religion of Jesus, do you think that they did it based off of real faith, or were they doing it in politics or trying to get land in this place they called the New World?
No, man, King James was surreal about salvation, man. That's another interview,
right?
Where you sit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go deep. I just want to ask you the question,
and we'll break down. But King James they loved the Lord, and there's a picture of King Charles when the white English was they cut his head off, and the reason he got his head cut off was because King Charles married a Catholic princess from either France or Spain, France. And that's why he got his head cut off, because the Church of England did not like Catholics. That's the reason why John F. Kennedy got assassinated. He was a Catholic president, man. See, Biden gets elected, but don't nobody ever mention that this dude is a Catholic. This was a Protestant country from the beginning. I don't want to get into that.
No.
That's
I'm
cold.
Agree with you. No. I'm going to agree with you because I know I did a bill, Mr. Lee Cummings, on the Moravians. And the Moravians, with William Penn, Benjamin Franklin, who you just mentioned, obviously who was the head of that state called Pennsylvania, Philadelphia,
right,
where the Lenape, the Iroquois.
That was a German stronghold.
Say it again, sir. I mean,
that was a German stronghold. But read Benjamin Franklin's essay. What did he say about the Germans? They were swarthy. They was black folks, man.
All right, so now
William
that's
Penn.
the Moravians.
William
that's
Penn
the
was a black man, huh?
Oh, stop.
William Penn. Look at the statue. They got a statue. They still got a statue in Philadelphia.
Black Germans.
And William Penn is what? He's a black man on the statue.
Hey, it makes sense. It go back to where I swear
Come
I
on,
did a
man.
bill. I'm gonna send it, Mr. Lee Cummings. I'm gonna send you this build I did on the Moravians. You know what I'm saying? These black Germans, these swarthy individuals that were Protestants, the brethren of Unitas, the Unitas brethren, dealing with the Wachovia Bank and Zinzendorf. I'm gonna send you that because
you know how they took this from us.
It's very interesting that you brought that up just now. Go ahead.
See, King James was one of the first kings to fight against the Antichrist, which was the Vatican. So the Pope was running around in the Middle Ages telling the rest of the kings of the earth, you can't be a king unless I bless you. King James told the Vic, no, kingship is handed down from heaven. It's called, and that was in the Basilica Duran, it was called the rights of the kings to rule. And so that's where the argument, that's where the war came. King James was teaching the rest of the kings of Europe, you don't need this Vic to be king. What did he say?
No, I'm asking to pull up a source, the 1611 introduction,
Yeah,
because I want to
hey,
pull
you
it up.
guys read
I
that.
want to
Let's
pull it
do a
up.
part two. Let's do a
Yeah, we're
part
gonna
two
do the
off
part.
the
I want to just pull
intro.
it up and show that there is a source. Yes, I'm gonna
That
bring that up next.
introduction.
That's my next. But
In
can you bring it
every
that right there real
Bible,
quick? That's why I'm gonna bring it in. That's why I'm gonna bring it
hey,
in. Can you
hey guys, I'm
pull it
gonna
up
have to
real
get
quick so I
out
can
of
ask the
here.
question?
I
No,
got
I
to
know
get
because
out of
I
here,
got
but
one
check
more
this
question.
out.
I got one more question.
Okay,
I got one
every
more
Bible
question.
in the world, the original introduction has been taken out of the book because they didn't want you to know that King James was not a Catholic.
I'm gonna agree with you, right? But I just gotta ask this one question.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to bring up the source though, because you brought up earlier 1611, and I
1611
read the
and
source.
16, either
I went
1611
to the
or
source, the introduction,
1619, the original King James.
right, and it correlates to everything our conversation is saying right now. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you,
So,
man, he put a hit out on that dude. There it is,
all
right?
right,
That's love right there, man.
you like that?
That is West. That's it. And tell your readers and your audience, go read that. And like the brother that made the comment that King James had anointed some Catholics to his state. No, man, that's impossible.
Let me ask you this though. This is the question I have for this article right here. Now, the Pope, since you said the Catholic, they had a trust in the Papal Bull. Are you familiar with the Papal Bulls
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
Manifest Destiny, the Doctrine of Discovery that all these Catholics were pulling, right? They were
right,
fighting against not just over here, forget the Americas, this is what's going on over there. And they
right,
taking lands from these people that you call swarthy, that are
right,
Europeans. And King James is like, I ain't with that. I ain't trying to submit and give no taxes and pay no tribute to these people. They trying to tell me how I got to marry people. They got to tell people this and that. You know what I'm saying? I can go to the Pope Clement the Eighth and different people, right? I can name some names, but
right,
people gonna have to read into the information you telling us to read into to kind of keep up with this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to bring you
right.
back on, and I got some plans for certain events. You know, I've talked to you about that. I want to bring you in on. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling
Okay.
that live in the future. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do some things, but with this conversation tonight, I'm gonna end you, and I thank you for your time with this question. The Sesquicu Vey Trust that the Pope had set up in like the 1300s. Do you think that King James, dealing with this introduction right here, source, was setting up a different trust for the people and the lands and the territories that he knew he had under his governance at the time that he was battling against these people based off this introduction?
No, but I'll tell you what you do. If you go back and read the original charters, beginning with King James and ending with King Charles King James II, because in each of the charters, all King James had, all he said, okay, listen, you go over there, send me back a fifth of everything you take out of the ground. Nothing. He never asked about slaves or slave money, and then he talks about the heirs, those people who would be heirs. So the people that received the charters, their names are on the original charters. And then it talks about their heirs. There was no trust set up. So these charters were ran like corporations. Each state was a corporation within itself with a charter. And that state, those names that the people that founded, they came over and founded the colonies, it was supposed to be handed down to their children and their children's children. These Gentiles know that. That's why they don't teach the charters. If that answers the question. There
Gotcha.
was no trust
No,
set up.
no, hey, there was no trust set up. You saying on behalf of him in
But
this
there was
documentation,
an
but
allocation for the heirs of the charter.
I mean, the reason why people ask that question though, from my reasoning and my own reasoning of thinking, when you brought this to my attention myself, because you put me onto this, I'm gonna give you credit for that. I didn't know about no introduction. That's why it amazed me when I read it myself. I think that everybody that has a King James Bible, you know what I'm
They
saying,
didn't
should
know it. The
read.
average preacher in America don't even know. The average minister don't even know he's missing his introduction.
Right. So the fact that this introduction is in place and you can go find the source in this 21st century, it gives a lot of clarity to a lot of kind of things to be brought up tonight. You said the Black Indians, these people that are called Black Europeans. I'm gonna have to try to get you back on here. I ain't gonna take up your time tonight. I only got like a little time left, anyways. But I still want to shout you out. Can we put them on the big screen real quick so you can promote all the things he got going on real quick before he leaves us? And also your website, so people can link it to your
Yeah,
website.
you know what?
I want
You
to
go
promote.
to
Do
the
your
web.
promotion before you leave me tonight, please, sir.
All right, if you
Just
go
tell
to the
everybody everything.
website,
I can pull it up.
If you go to the website, you can get all it has all of my books. It's called the Negro Question Bookstore .ecwid.com. In fact, the Negro Question Bookstore, Ecwid, and you're gonna see all my books listed up there. And come and shop with us. I wrote it down. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see that?
Hold on. I didn't. It's Equid. You got it?
Yeah, you got it.
Equid. Spell
Yeah,
Equid one more time for the people, though, because I know it's a different.
the
You know what I
Negro
mean?
Question Bookstore
Dot.
Ecwid, E as in apple, CWID.com. And go over there, shop with us, man. Help because we don't get monies from the government in order to maintain and do our research.
Self-published.
And this book right here.
That's autonomous. Yeah.
This book right here is written in English and in ancient Aramaic. This book has 2 books in one. First book is a dictionary that you can read with your King James Bible. It's like a concordance with artifacts. The second book teaches you how to read, write, and translate ancient Paleo-Hebrew or Aramaic. And I also offer a history course. Right now, I'm in the middle of, we're at the tail end of our career. There it is. This guy's good. This guy right here.
Got a grade on the board.
Yeah, that's the bookstore, y'all. And then sign up for the class. I got another class that's starting in January. So I'm teaching right now. We're currently teaching a history course with ancient Aramaic. So there go that book he got in his hand. And 2 of the books are hardcover, the dictionary and part 2. So I gotta go. Hey man, let me know what you. I told you I'm with you, man.
I'm gonna bug you before you go, sir.
You ain't got to. I just told
I'm gonna bug you before you go, sir, because someone just hit me, and they're gonna be mad at me. And it's a lady, and I need her to get her question. I want to make sure I ask this woman because this was a woman, so I'm gonna make sure I ask the question. She's saying this. What about people like Horace Butler? I gotta lump it all in one, so understand my question. The Horace Butler, Rocks Cry Out. Are you familiar with that book, sir?
I saw the title. But a lot. Okay, but go ahead. I'll finish the question.
Okay, all right. So between the Rocks Cry Out and a lot of different narratives with certain groups of thinking America's the old world narrative, and that the people who are Jews originally came from the Americas, and that this is the ancient land. Jerusalem is here, not over there. That narrative, like the map has been.
Tell her there's a problem. Tell her there's one problem with the question, and ain't nobody thinking. If that is indeed the case, then we're not Israel, because the prophecy said Israel had to go back into captivity on slave ships, go back into bondage on ships in Egypt, and sold as bondmen and bondwomen. That means if they accept that narrative, we're not Israel.
Okay. You said bond. Wait, I'm sorry.
Bond
Did you just say bondmen and bondwomen?
Yeah.
You said bondmen and bondwomen.
28 chapters, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. So if that narrative is the truth, then we ain't Israel.
All right. Now I'm going to say this, sir. I thank you for your information tonight. I'm gonna try to get you back on here another time, hour at a time.
Man, I got to go to bed.
Thank you very much. Yeah, have a good night, sir.
Hey, man, I enjoyed myself. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Yeah, peace, man. Thank you.
All right.
Lee Cummings. Thank you, man. Have a good night.
Lee
Cummings came and vibe with us tonight, y'all. Thomas Party. Negro question. There's a lot of Negro questions we have out here in our society days. I think he gave some insight. Go to the website and make sure you tap in. You know what I'm saying? Can we pull it up one more time before we leave into the mix? Tap into the website. We're building a bookshelf on our own website, theatomousparty.com, and we'll be having some of them books with other books on our shelf that are references for you to, all the topics we talk about, so you can have sources, and then from there you can do your own scholarship on the things we talk about and get your own perception of what we're doing. We ain't here to tell you what it is. You need to know what it is. You feel me? Yes, it. At the end of the day, though, this is Lee Cummings' website, and I got some things in the new year we practice, but it's politics right now. It's that season, so I'm gonna try to just deal with the fact that what's going on currently and give thanks because it is the season that we're getting ready to go into. Some, I guess the Hebrews, right? It's Hanukkah. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? And then also giving thanks to the indigenous folks that did the first Thanksgiving right here in South Florida, St. Augustine. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's where the Thanksgiving first took place. You know what I mean? I could use that. I'm giving that away just in case in the future I have to do a trivia question because Thanksgiving is coming up this week, and you know what it is. And matter of fact, right, this week, as you see, we got Lee Cummings on the podcast this Sunday, tonight, and then next week Sunday we got Tavin Sanders joining us from NDU. You know what I'm saying? And that institution is teaching about indigenous history, law, and also some things that we tap into dealing with the heritage of things. And obviously, shout out to Open Mia. Genealogy is very important to understanding how this mixture of culture took place here between, as Lee Cummings said it in his book on page 92, uh, 6, Black Indians and these swarthy Europeans that mixed and bought land and civilized, as they would call it, these indigenous people, Aboriginal people, to the religion. Out of politics, I would call it, but that's what took place. And these surnames and different things that we got, and in this Negro question conversation that we be having every day, socially amongst ourselves and other people. Again, I would suggest though that because he said it just now on our podcast before we go into the mix, the German part. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to the Moravians. I try to tell y'all about the Moravians, and they gotta agree. I told y'all about who those Moravians was. Pennsylvania, William Penn, Anthony Benezet, Zinzendorf, Benjamin Franklin, the Iroquois Confederacy, the Lenape, the Delaware. I can keep going, right? There's a lot of references I could throw into that mix of Philadelphia in the first, second Continental Congresses, all in that same state that he said there's Germans. Yeah, he said Germans, by the way. Swarthy, a mixture. I guess they would say mulatto, but nah, I guess based off some Pan-Africans, because the narrative is you came over here in 1619. That's not even true. That source ain't even right. At the same time, though, in the narrative that you've been thinking, and as he shows in his books, he got manifest showing ships with the surnames, showing the height, weight, complexion, features, and everybody got agree. Coming out of this area of these 13 colonies. And can I pull up that one source real quick though with the America's joint before we leave? The America's joint. Because I came across this a while back, about a decade ago. And I actually met these folks back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a certain Pan-African, I ain't gonna say no names, said, that the Moors weren't Negroes or weren't black, swarthy. In today's time, I guess, if Kamala Harris can be thought of as a black woman, even though we know how that worked, I guess the mixture and confusion could be there on who could be considered a Negro, who's not. But however the case might be, can we, whenever you're ready, I'm gonna read this thing. We're gonna go right into the mix. Shout out to Blaze for the campaign. Coming up in the holiday time, we're gonna get ready to start. It's a Friday, on a Friday night, Music Media Lounge. We're gonna be playing straight chill vibe though. You know what I mean? Party vibe, loud with us. You know what I'm saying? Late night, you know what I mean? Getting ready to go into that new year. I guess the commercial new year, fourth quarter, commercially speaking. And I mean, we appreciate everybody that's tapping into what we're doing each and every Sunday, 8 to 11 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And we got different guests. Matter of fact, right after that, after Tavis Sanders next week, you can go to our website. You can see we got his link up there in our autonomous news section of our website, theautonomousparty.com. We have the next week, we got Money Corn. It's been a minute, right? but Money Corner is coming to drop some things on us, and it's going to be on some shit. I'm trying to tell y'all. So pay attention economically. 1st of December. You know what I mean? I got Safa. Shout out to Safa. In December, he gonna stop by. I got him coming in to vibe with us real quick about some things. You know what I mean? And shout out to him what he's doing. Caruso. Am I saying that right? I'm used to saying Safa, so now Caruso. Caruism. See, I say Safa. Shout out to Safa, but Caruism. Now this thing that Lee Cummings brought up, and I didn't get to go over with it. He had to go, right? But I want to make sure I squeeze it in there because the brother that had brought up that, these Negroes or these Africans, as the term is used, or the term he used today is African Americans, had no, civilized manner about them. You know what I mean? Before Noble Drew Ali, let's get past Noble Drew Ali, right? With the Moorish Science Temple and that religious faith, and still them being considered swarthy, Negro, dark skin, all those different descriptions outside of their faith. You know what I mean? In their genealogy. Hold on real quick. One more second. You see this picture here? The Moorish Zionist temple. It says of the Moorish Jews. I know good and well everybody that can see this picture. You look at everybody in that picture. Today we would call them Negroes. Questions, part 8. You know what I mean? Being sarcastic. But still, 1899, Moorish Science Temple founded 3 decades after the United States Civil War. Literally, this is their faith. This is what they're saying. They're not using African. You know what I'm saying? They're not using African, right? And obviously, we went through the Moravian joint showing how the African thing came about. That was in the 1700s, where the African Lodge, Freemasonry joint, and everything, Prince Hall, all that, and how that's connected to, Absalom Jones, Richard Allen. I'm gonna give the shout outs to all them folks that did their thing in that time frame, right? And how this narrative came about. But literally, this term more is showing the connection that these people would be also called African Americans, but they're not self-identifying that manner. Feel me? Feel me? And they're not also following the narrative of just being a Christian converted person, obviously, to just, you know what I mean? So they found a way back, right? So let's read. It says, in 1899, Leon Richu established the Moorish Zionist Temple in Brooklyn. Rabbi Richu, as he was called, maintained that he was the Ethiopian origin and that the congregation was composed of Black Jews from Palestine and Northern Africa. Scroll up for me, brother. Thank you. West Africa, year 1743. Around the time Lee Cummings was talking about. The great historic map print shows ancient Ethiopia included West Africa and Gabon in the south, to Nigeria, Mali, Mauritania in the north. The tribes of Judah and Benjamin fled from the land of Judah in 70 AD to the west coast of Africa and Spain. Some were isolated and Orthodox, such as Rabbi Leon Richu. I might be saying it wrong. I'm going to say Rich. Ichilu. Rich. See, I'm going to say Rich. You see the shit. All right, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. Shout out to Jam Jar. Sweet Shiraz. 2020. Moorish Zionist Temple. Others counted mainstream movements, Ethiopian Hebrews. Arnold J. Ford tried in vain to have his Beth Benai Abraham congregation and its immigrationist ideology declared an official religion of Marcus Garvey Back to Africa Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA. So, like, this is during Marcus Garvey's time frame, right? And you see it right here, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, they're literally going back to Africa thought process, really still connected to these people that knew their origins in some way, and these people's origins at least thought that they were going back to dealing with their tribes and their origin in that manner. So, in belief, I would say, just not to be disrespectful to nobody's thought process on this. And genealogy have a connection to it too at the same damn time, right? It's crazy enough in this day and time how that worked out. But either way, so they're showing you that the person that in that picture is look like we'll call Africans today, calling themselves Moorish, saying they're Zionists. This is before Noble Drew Ali, and they're called Moorish, and they're saying Zionist, which means it's connected to obviously some kind of Hebrew root. You see the Fez? The Hebrews, though, the Zionists. So at the end of the day, we're going to go to Mr. N. Shaparo, a mild-mannered Jewish businessman, stopped to chat a few moments with the kosher butcher. The butcher was chuckling. Funny thing, he explained some colored people came in this morning and wanted some kosher meat. Real Negro people from up in Harlem. They say they are Jews, he laughed. You scroll up for me, God agree. Shout out to Cole from the boards for the podcast we do each and every Sunday with our special guests. We got sources throwing around. He catching them shit. So we right. Either way though. Rabbi W.M. Matthew. See this guy Matthew, you need to check him out. Rabbi W.M. Matthew is celebrating his 16th year as the head of the Commandment Keepers, the Harlem Jewish sect. In defense of his program, Rabbi Matthews explains that the philosophy of the Jews is to acquire wealth and command respect. Rabbi Matthew is certain that the sooner the black man is imbued with the philosophy, the sooner will come to the racist forward movement, excuse me. Let me scroll up a little more. I'm trying to get to some meat so we can get out of here to this mix. And we're going to go right. I see the map there real quick. That's like 1855, antique Palestine, Israel map, ancient Jerusalem. Let me come down a little bit more. See, I met these dudes about 12 years ago, y'all. American Society, and they thought process. And they were on some more shit, but the crazy shit is they weren't kicking the Islamic shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And God, they were kicking the Hebrew shit. Yeah, that's the trick bag to it. So I never really got, caught up on it. When I did go into the information, looking at it from that angle. That's what threw me off because, the 5% school of thought is one thing, but then you start seeing the universal connection to all things and the teachings of different things. But this is just historically, you know what I mean? Because this is just showing that there was a group of people that had these surnames, you know what I'm saying? That these surnames connected and they knew that they had a thought process of getting back to their ancestral origins of practices and where they came from, even when they mixed, because the predominant mixture, because this place was colonialized through the 13 colonies, you know what I mean? And they're the last ones to come in, because we ain't talk about, remember the French tonight, we ain't going to Spain that much, you know what I'm saying? We just really talked about, the interest of, this shit throwing out, coming that way. So, excuse me, give me losing the crumbs. We have to be real, though. So, right here, you see the picture. Let me read this and be out of here. Apostle genealogical connection to African American Islam can also be seen, especially in the advent of the Black Jewish congregations that were called Moorish, similar to the immediate forerunner of the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple, a Black Islamic sect founded in Newark, New Jersey in 1913. In 1899, Rabbi Leon Richelieu, that's how I'm going to say it, established the Moorish Zionist Temple in Brooklyn in 1921. Mordasi Herman or Mordasi Joseph reformed the Moorish Zionist Temple in Harlem with affiliate branches in Newark and Philadelphia. It says C. Shapiro, Factors in Development of Black Judaism, 266, and Landis, the Negro Jews of Harlem, page 181, to give you some sources. And there's some other sources down there you can read real quick before we get out of here. It says Dutch. You see that Dutch? That Dutch is that's that thing. You feel me? That's that. I mean, shout out to the Dubs, right? We didn't get to say Dub, and they got to agree. That's swarthy, but we say Dub too, Dubh. You know what I'm saying? Dub Kings and all that good stuff. That's black too. Shout out to Lee Cummings again for vibing with us tonight. We're gonna go ahead and get to this mix. Tap in with us next week, Sunday. Lee Cummings, the week after, Money Corner. We tapping in on some things the next couple of weeks before we go into this what they call a holiday, the winter solstice time frame. And I want y'all to tap in with us, you know what I mean, get this good information in. Take care of your family, do what you got to do, be autonomous in every way. Shout out to all the Aboriginal Americans, BSB, through their campaign, Aboriginal Yacht Seminole, you hear me? That means Aboriginal people be free. You know, free people. We the first, you know what I mean? We the First Nations, the people from the ancient days. In a current time, in a situation where we got to get back to our prominence as people, you hear me? It's deep, it's crazy. But hey, we here now though. Blaze, we out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Long way from that west side. No way, no way. I just wanna make love. I just wanna make peace. I just wanna stay free, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I just wanna make love. I just wanna make peace. I just wanna stay free, yeah. I just wanna stay free, yeah. I just wanna make love. I just wanna make peace. I just wanna stay. I just wanna stay free, yeah. I just wanna stay free, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I come from a city where it's really hard. I'm really from them projects. When I got, I really seen them dead bodies off in the alley. Real talk, no capping.